Good morning, Year 2. It's your last fraction lesson with me today before you work with Mr. Wernick next Monday. I hope you enjoy your lesson, and I'm really excited to be able to share with you today the effect that the numerator makes on how many parts are shaded out of the whole. I'm going to share my screen with you now. Mr. Wernick says the following shape has 1/3 shaded in. Is he correct? Why? Pause this video now. Let's check together. We know that for it to be 1/3 shaded in, our whole has to be 3. How many parts has our whole been equally split into? 1, 2, 3, 4. Can it be 1/3 shaded in? No, it can't, can it? Because we know our shape has been split into quarters. And how many quarters have been shaded in? 1. 1/4 of the shape has been shaded in, not 1/3. Now, today we're going to be identifying fractions of a shape with different numerators, and we know our numerator is our top number above our vinculum. And we're going to go through now our star words. So we've got our numerator at the top, and that tells us how many of the parts of the whole. We have our vinculum, which is our line that splits between our numerator and denominator, and our denominator that tells us how big is our whole. And we know that a fraction shows parts of a whole. And if something has been split into 2 equal parts, it has been split into halves. And if something has been split into 3 equal parts, we call that thirds. Let's say all our keywords together. Numerator, vinculum, denominator, fractions, halves, thirds. So how much of this shape has been shaded and how much is not shaded? First of all, let's have a look at our whole. Our whole is 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. And if a shape has been split into 4 parts, we say it's been split into quarters. So how many parts of this shape has been shaded? 1 part of this shape has been shaded. So 1 out of the 4 parts have been shaded, and we call this 1/4. So how many parts have not been shaded? Well, we know that our whole is 4. 1, 2, 3. 3 out of the 4 parts have not been shaded, and we call this 3/4. 3/4 of this shape have not been shaded in. Your turn. How much of the shape is shaded and how much is not shaded? If you said that 1/2 of the shape has been shaded and 1/2 of the shape has not been shaded, you would be correct. This shape has been split into 2 equal parts, which we call halves, and 1/2 has been shaded and the other half has not been shaded. Your turn again. Pause the video in 3, 2, 1. This time round, our shape has 1, 2, 3. Our whole is 3. How much of the shape has been shaded? 1, 2. 2 of the 3 parts have been shaded. We call that 2/3. How much is not shaded? 1. 1 part out of 3 has not been shaded, and we call this 1/3. 2/3, 1/3. So what's the same and what's different with these 2 shapes? Pause this video now and have a think. in 3, 2, 1, pause. If you said that both shapes have been split into 4 equal parts, you would be correct. Each shape has been split into 4 equal parts. Each shape has been split into quarters. What's different? This shape is a circle, and this shape is a rectangle. You're absolutely right. This shape has 4 sides. This shape has 1 side. What else is the same? We know we've got the 4 equal parts. Well, we know they both show fractions of amount, but what is different? This one has only got 1 out of the 4 pieces shaded, showing 1/4, whereas this one has 1, 2, 3 out of the 4 pieces shaded, showing 3/4. What's the same and what is different? Pause your screen in 3, 2, 1, pause. That's right, they're the same shape. They've also been split into 3. They've been split into thirds. What is different? They have had a different amount shaded. This shape shows 1/3 has been shaded, whereas this shape shows 2/3 of the shape has been shaded. Say thirds with me again. Thirds. Thirds. Great. Now we're going to be working through how to shade in 2/3 of this shape. And we know that our numerator, our top number, tells us how many parts we need to shade in. So, how many parts do we have altogether? 1, 2, 3. How many do I need to shade in? I need to shade in 2. 1, 2. I have shaded in 2/3 of this shape because the whole is 3 and I have shaded in 2 equal parts. Your turn. Shade in 3/4 of this shape. First of all, how many parts are there to my shape? 4. Well done. And how many do I need to shade in? 3. I need to shade in 3 of my 4 parts of my whole. I need to shade in 3/4. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. I've shaded in 3/4 of my shape. What fraction of the shape has been shaded now? If you said 1/4, you're absolutely correct. This one was a bit more confusing as there's no lines breaking up the shape to help us. We have to almost imagine that they are there. This shape could have been split into 4 equal parts, and each part would have been this big. I'll show you now. So at the moment, 1/4 is full. 2/4, 3/4, a whole. 4/4, or the whole has now been filled, but originally only 1/4. Your task now, complete the worksheet. Look at the shape. How many parts are there altogether? What is your whole? And write down your denominator. Then write down how many parts have been shaded. That's your numerator. The next part of the sheet asks you to shade in the shape to show the fraction. And finally, there's been a sentence that's got itself in a real muddle. Can you unscramble the sentence so that it makes sense? What does the fraction picture show next to it? That will help you. And finally, there is a challenge worksheet for you to do today, if you feel like you want to extend your learning. Goodbye, you two.